Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here at Painted Studios. Welcome back and thank you for spending some time with me. Sorry, I've been alone all day and I'm stuttering because I'm just working out my words today. I am going to check my video feed to make sure you all are seeing me, which it looks like you are. Come on, open up. There we go. Let's make sure everything is going on. Yes, you can see things, so that is awesome. Now, the other day, you've seen me start a couple projects, and they've all been wonderful, but I haven't moved very far on them because, you know, it's the time of year where paperwork and the government and stuff wants to start seeing reports, so I've been doing a lot of paperwork, which I hate. I'd rather just sit and paint things pretty and have somebody else do my paperwork, and then I'll check it off. read the reports and let somebody else do all the grunt work of putting it all in the computer. But no, the grunt work is me now. Okay, so the other day we started the table, and then we started a Verre Eglomise project. So I wanted to, today we're going to go and do more on the Verre Eglomise piece, which, if you're not familiar with the term, is reverse gilding and painting on glass, so that the glass has the gold mounted on the back of it from the way you'll view it, and then you layer paints and whatever else you're going to do over it and seal it, and then once you lift it up, the front is the image side. So this is one of those things I'm going to tell you now. If you're doing anything with lettering, whoops, something fell over because I'm shaking the table. If you're doing anything with lettering, remember you have to reverse it, because the way you write it is not the way it's going to be viewed. So there's a moment just to say that. I never do anything really with lettering. I have, but I can't be bothered with all the reverse stuff unless I'm doing signage, which, if you saw the front of the studio in past pictures, that big painted studio sign, I did all the gold work on it, and yes, indeed, it was reversed. So the other day, we've been filming videos and stuff for TikTok and for Reels and all that sort of thing, and I spent hours with our Miguel, our social media person, on, what was it, Tuesday, filming stuff, so there'll be a lot of fun things coming in on Reels and on Instagram and on other social media. But we didn't take a picture for him to post of the final project. So one of the things we did was this really cute little heart. So if you like this little heart, keep an eye out for it on Instagram and on Reels and stuff, so you can see how we did it. But I'm just cute as can be. Hey Valerie, thank you for coming in. Nice to see you here. Okay, I have my screens up in front of me, I have my phone up in front of me so I can zoom and do stuff. So I'm going to flip the camera down and we're going to get working. Now normally I am doing this very, very quietly and by myself because gilding is in general for me a very relaxing and a very peaceful thing to do. So I don't talk a lot through it. As you can see, we have this whole piece of glass that was gilded. I did that on a live the other day. And then I've etched out a band around the edge. And the reason we might put this on black like this, hey Karen, nice to see you here, is that when you're doing the etching process, it's much easier to see what you've drawn in the gold than it on black, because then you have a bright contrast than it is if you do it over white. Trust me, I have tried doing it over white. It doesn't work. It gives me a screaming headache to do it because the values of the and the reflections are too close together. So doing it a piece like this over black is much easier. Now I have done entire tabletops doing this. I have done, God, done a lot of tops of a lot of stuff. Big tables, small tables, art pieces. I'm actually going to be in a book and in a show and on tarot cards. Some of my work is going to be on all of those things next month because I was commissioned by another artist for a project she's doing. and it's very, very exciting. So I am thrilled to death about that, and I'll share that with you when it comes out. But that's not until the end of March. This happens to be a piece I just felt like doing for myself because I haven't done anything like this without an agenda in a long time. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything from anybody. I just want to check in. Hi, Pam. Thank you for coming in. Now, of course, during the course of the videos, like always, you'll see me reach over, touch my iPad screen, just to see if there's any questions or anything coming up. So in my little bucket here, I have some whiting and some denatured alcohol. And we're going to be working in this corner, so I'm going to give a zoom in. It's not going to be easy to see. I know that there's a lot of reflection because when you do this sort of thing, this becomes like a mirror. And it's even more mirror-like on the other side, but it will reflect a lot. You'll see, you know, obviously you see my chin and see my mouth talking, even though I'm not pointing the camera at myself. So I want to get this into the area that I'm working so that you can see it as well as I can humanly make it. That is as small as I can crop it. And we're going to be working on this corner over here on my left-hand side. This is the pattern. I'm working with this as a pattern. Now, let me put this back so y'all can see it. I went online, went to find copyright-free lino cut stuff. Now, I've worked off of all kinds of images. I look for copyright-free stuff so that when I'm creating, I'm not taking somebody else's work. My work will never look like what this looks like, but I use it for my inspiration. I will add more, take out more, do different things to it, but the basic starting points will look very similar to this. And remember, as I am working with this as my block, when I turn it over, it's going to be completely reversed. So what looks like the deer pointing this way is actually going to read the other way when I flip this over. So I've started off with the little deer here in the corner. You can see I've got this deer right here, and this is the corner I'm working in. Now, you'll also see I'm working with a pair of gloves on. This is just a little bamboo stick that you get them at the art store. I dip the tip into the alcohol and whiting mixture because that gives it a little grit to clean the surface, and then I come back in and start cleaning up my lines a lot harder. I sketched a lot of this in, and I already made what I would call my first boo-boo, which is right here because I ran this whole line right through the neck. And so when I do this next corner over here, I won't do that. I will work to fit the sketch of the animal in before I complete all the lines in the curved triangle. So this is very calming to me. When you're doing bigger surfaces, you take a little piece of cotton, wrap it around the tip of the skewer, and clean out larger surfaces, which is what I did around the edges. Right now I'm kind of going for finer lines, although I am going heavy-handed here because, again, my pattern is heavy-handed right there. So I want to kind of give this sort of rustic look. You know, just because we're past Christmas doesn't mean we're out of winter yet, especially here in the Midwest, which surprisingly, where I am, we've had almost no snow. We had snow 2 days before Christmas, and it stayed really cold for us to keep the snow for Christmas. Then 2 days later, it warmed up, everything melted. And since then, we've had very, very little snow. And so it hasn't felt, you know, it's been a lot of the times in the 40s during the day. So we've had very mild weather, and I'm like, you know, come on, give me some real Midwest winter. Give me some real snow. You know, give me a reason to sit in front of the TV watching movies and drinking hot beverages. Because, You know, I love doing that on a snow day. I will take snow days from time to time. You know, we've taken them. We actually had to take them when the cold snap happened because, quite frankly, everything was closed. We couldn't ship. We couldn't receive. There was, just decided that was the day we're going to give everybody a break, because why should I make people drive to the studio? Why should I make people come to work with me when it's sub-zero, when it's negative 17? You know, I don't crack that whip. I'm like, stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself. All right, let me see if I have any questions here. I'm going to move this paper because, quite frankly, when I come in to see people who's here, I cannot read anything. Hey, Sharon and Donna and Sandy, thank you all for coming in and watching what we're doing here. So, as you can see, gold is extremely soft. So when it's mounted like this, the gelatin is a gentle binder. So we just come in with something and etch out the gold. The glove prevents any oils from my hand to possibly cause any discoloration. Now, this is a bigger deal with a more tarnishable metal. Moon gold can tarnish a little. Silver, your hand can tarnish it. And again, these are real metals. If I was using composition gold, it doesn't etch like this. It tends to tear. It's a heavier product. It requires stronger gelatin to adhere it to a glass. It will patina, and it doesn't etch out as easily. Trust me, I've tried it all. Copper, because they make the copper leaf heavier, that can be a challenge too. But golds, I mean, I've etched through palladium. Palladium is a little hard. It requires a little more elbow grease, and I do this slowly. It makes me happy just to kind of quietly work and etch through the gold. And we'll work on this pattern I'm not going to keep this a super, super long video, because I know that this is not necessarily the most exciting thing to watch. I love it. I've taken, I think, 3 or 4 classes from absolute masters in this. 4 classes, I'm pretty sure. And I would take more and more and more. Again, I'm a member of the Society of Gilders, so this is kind of my happy spot. But I also love practicing it at home. I'm very fortunate that my business allows me to do this for some of my clients. It's not an inexpensive process when I do it for them, because it takes a lot of hours, takes a lot of gold. But the ones who know me and know this, they love it. So it makes all of us happy when I get to do this, and especially since this one's just for me, just because I want it. Of course, you know, I'll put it, I don't know if I'll put it on my website or I'll just stick it on my Etsy store. But I have so much that I've done, I don't think I have much room around my own home for it anymore. This is what happens when you make a lot of things like I do. I because of the way I teach stuff and the way, you know, I do the lives, I become very prolific. You know, you've seen me. I don't make just one epoxy cup. I make like 3 or 4, 6 at a time, because I have so many ideas bouncing around in my head that I start running out of room. And now that we are not in a commercial storefront, we're in a private studio, in a private warehouse, I need to put some of the things I make probably on my Etsy store, not just my business, you know, my regular business website. So that may be one of my projects for March, because I got a lot of projects for now. So I'm just going to keep doing that. Now, again, just a little tiny bit of alcohol in here. It evaporates pretty quickly. So, and there's just a little tiny bit of whiting in there, which adds just a little grit to it. So it helps be abrasive to the surface. Now I have tools that I use. This is like a regular standard pencil size. But I also use things like bamboo skewers, little tiny thin ones. I have brushes. You'll see as we work on this, because this is going to be an ongoing project for a while. This is not going to be, I just etch this out, put it out, you know, throw something on the back of it, and it's done. I have some pretty complex plans for this, which is, again, why I say that the piece that I'm using for the design idea is really only a template for me. I will be doing other things, although I love this carved out stuff on the corners. But once I go and start doing the back painting, there will be multiple colors on all of this. So it'll have these beautiful blushing, you know, ombre colors. So those are some of my plans. As you can see, this works just fine. I just, every once in a while, go back and dip in a little alcohol. Now, I have people I know who do this who are incredibly OCD about getting every last tiny bit of gold etched and having it immaculate. You all know that's not me. The word perfection and OCD and, you know, I probably should not use OCD as a descriptor. I think that's a little bit unfair, but they're very, very type A about having to have something absolutely cleared out. As you all know, that is not me. You've seen me do it. I make messes. I'm very spontaneous with stuff. If something doesn't go the way I want it to, it's like, whoops, well, got to figure out a new way to do that. And so if I have little tiny bits of gold left in the etched areas, I consider that part of the handmade beauty of something. I don't want it to look so perfectly clean that you can't tell somebody did it by hand. Handmade things have inherent flaws in them because people are not perfect. And I really like to embrace those things. I think that's part of what makes them so beautiful. So we have a little bit, you know, as I'm working on this too, even though it doesn't really look it from the piece I'm working with, the corners here have a little bit of a medieval feel, which is something I really love. I really love how that looks. And stags and hunt scene and winter stag scenes are very, very medieval in there. You look at tapestries, they're a big part of it. I know there's symbolism there. I don't remember what it is. If I took some time before I went live today and looked it up, I would be able to tell you. But stags are always a huge part of heraldry, and I love that. And I haven't done, you know, we have deer cutouts, stag cutouts here for you to paint on, and all kinds of other stuff, but I don't often do something like this on my own. Now I may add some more work in that space. I think it needs a little more filling. Hey Becky, nice to see you here. And then I'm going to work on the shadow, the second pair of antlers that are behind here. So it's like almost a shadow, but these will be seen. So I'm coming in here, getting this antler, and I'm trying not to make them absolutely identical, because while they'll be balanced by nature, you know, identical is rare. So I'm going to get those antlers in here. So I've got my basic deer figure blocked in here. So the next thing I need to do, and I work on the corners. I really don't like that line there though. Well, I'll clean that up when I'm more. This line I'm not really happy with. It's a little choppy, and you're going to see why, because I did it by hand. Actually, while I was filming with Miguel yesterday, and I was standing over it peculiarly, and it did not make me happy. So I think what I'm going to do next, I want to take a little measure. Yes, and I do use rulers from time to time. So when I use a ruler for what I'm doing, I need to make sure it's got cork backing. I don't want to scrape anything. I don't want the metal sitting on there directly. And then I have a little tab on the top of it, as you can see, so that I don't have to scrape it to get it off. It doesn't do any damage to the surface. So that's how I got these lines. And I forgot to measure, which would be right there, which is about, I don't know, 5 and... Okay, I just want to make sure I do this right. Come in here. And what I do is this. I set this down lightly on the surface, and then I come in and lightly, hopefully not moving it, lightly etch my line. And a little fat on there. There we go. And then I take it up again the same way. Well, I got to get it all the way to the corner. That would help. And then I bring it up again to the same place over here. Again, it's not going to be perfect because now I'm going to bring in that curve. And I have to remember to leave a little gap for the neck of the dough that's on the other side. So I've done that. And then I'm turning this back this way so I can see it. And I think I'm gonna have to slightly shift things. All right, okay. Yes, you can see this corner. I'm just making sure you can see it. And I'm being really careful about where I put my hands right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is create the dough, which is right here. This is always a little challenging for me because now this is a spatial. I'm like, oh crap, I got to get the spacing of it right. And you see though, I'm going in very lightly. And I'm basically following the lines that this creator made. Whoever this wonderful person was who created this originally. And we're going to do that. And then I'm going to come here, create the belly line. Let's look at this arm. I'm sorry, I am looking off to the side where you can't see, but that's because of the way this is placed. Let's go this way. Let's come up here. A little bit of the shoulder in. And then we get the breast area of the animal. Bring in the other leg. See, this is not something I do easily on my own. I'm a very good mimic for things, but I struggle to create animals and people without some reference. I know there are people who can do it, and I admire it so much and wish it were me. But generally, the truth is that's not how I work. I need a template. I'd love to say I didn't, but I do. Okay, so there's the ear. There's the other ear in. So now I've laid in where my animal is, and then I can just come in with this line and finish it all the way to the bottom here. Now I won't break it. Now I don't have to worry about doing something like I did there. Makes my life very happy. And I will continue on creating the pattern. I will do the same sort of thing that I did here, which is create the little leaf element. And there's that. And there's that. Leaf elements, I'm good. You know, that's vine work, I'm easy. But the other stuff, damn, I really need some help. I need a template. And so we're going to do that right there. There was, just like there's the flower blossom here, I'm going to do the flower blossom right there. And if these aren't even the perfectly even sizes, that's okay. I need them to be close. I don't need them to be exact. Why? Because again, handmade. Handmade. There's going to be a second line that comes further out here, and I'm going to do all of these corners before I start working in the center. Hey, Lisa. Nice to see you here. So I'm just going to finish etching in all of these leaves to show you how I lay my patterns out. And then I'm going to leave you for a while and just sit here quietly working and being in my happy place. Now, when I did this, if you see this side, I did double leaves. That's not how it is on the vine in the original drawing. It's because I felt that this space at this size was so big, it needed more stuff in it. So let's do that. And let's see, let's get another. This one. And let's take it up a little higher like that. Let's take this a little bit right there because it needs its leaf on that curve. Okay, so now again, I've etched this whole pattern in, and we are ready for me to work it a little heavier. All right, everybody, let me flip this up. I know this can get hard to see sometimes, so let me also open up my screen. So this is, I'm going to continue to work on this. There's going to be like 10 or 15 plus hours of me working just on the drawing part of this, because I've picked a pretty big size. I have to work from the outside in because of the way the pattern works in my brain. And it's going to take me a while, but I will keep up with you when we're ready for painting. I will come back and do the painting with you. And then we'll discuss how other things work with this. But this is, for now, I think you've got the idea of what I'm doing, and we'll keep back with it later. All right, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And I am going to keep working, and I will see you all later. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time with me. And I think I'm looking for my button to end the live. Thanks, everyone.